Hi, time for a tour of a wheelchair accessible room at the Holiday Inn Cleveland Clinic. So let's check it out. So I am on the 8th floor. This hotel goes all the way up to 9th floor, so I'm towards the top of the building, and you can see I'm pretty high up. And we've got this view out my window. Not too bad. Definitely here during some stormy weather. I'm not sure if the storm has moved all the way through yet, but it's definitely been super windy all day and rainy. So we'll see how the rest of the night goes. So now let's check out the room. Okay. There's the contents of my suitcase. The big bottle of Miralax basically sums up my life. So the room itself is actually huge. Like there's a lot of space to move around in the wheelchair. The carpet is a low pile carpet, so it's pretty easy to roll on in the wheelchair. That standing lamp, unless you're ambulatory, you are likely not going to be getting to it. And the lamps each have two outlets to plug things in. I think that's pretty standard for most hotels. In terms of the height of the bed, so it's pretty easy to transfer in and out of. I would say there's maybe like 1 or 2 inches difference between where I'm seated and the top of the bed. Keep in mind, I do have 2 cushions on my wheelchair stacked, so that does put me up a little bit higher. So pretty easy to transfer in and out of the bed if you have the upper body strength to do so. A desk. It looks like maybe, is this like an eating tray? Or, oh, this could go under the bed actually. Wait, what is this? I don't know, it's very heavy. It does not roll. Never mind. But you could use that to put stuff on. You've got your dresser, TV, and then there's this very interesting station over here. Hang on, let me turn down my air purifier here. This is the air purifier I bring with me when I travel. So it has like a little kitchen area here, as you can see. It's got a sink, a microwave, I'm not sure what's under here, plumbing. And I think here is probably the refrigerator. Yeah. And it has a little freezer at the top, so if you need to bring ice packs with you or whatever, lots of space to put things in there. Just some drawers, empty drawers, ice bucket, little coffee station. My dad took the coffee from my station. But this is what they have, or one of the things that they got decaf. Maybe I'll have some tomorrow. Green Mountain. Here's your little entranceway. There's a huge mirror, which is nice. And then your closet, which is fairly wheelchair accessible. You've got this lower part that is at wheelchair height. And then this upper part, again, if you can stand, you'd be able to reach it. Ironing board. There is a safe in this room. Entranceway, and then the doorway is decently wide. It is a little bit narrower than I thought it would be. So let's see here. And I'm not sure how big my wheelchair is. 17 inches, I think it is, the seat width. And then here is the bathroom, which is huge. So you've got a cutout underneath the sink for you to sit at, and the legs go under easily. Hi. And the sink is close, so you don't have to like lean over super far to get to it, which is nice. You've got your stuff on the wall. Ideally, it would be nicer if this was a little bit closer versus in a little ways. But small detail, you've got a huge lit mirror to do your makeup. And then lots of grab rails by the toilet. And the toilet is at a, probably can't see that. It's at a good height, at least with my wheelchair. And then they do have rooms with a roll-in shower, but because I am partially ambulatory, I opted for a room with a tub in case somebody needed a room with a roll-in shower. And there are a ton of grab rails in here. Actually, this is the most grab rails I have seen ever in a wheelchair accessible hotel bathroom. Now again, it does suffer from the same problem as most accessible tubs in that the bench is all the way at the back of the tub, and then you've got their stuff at the front. And now I'm not sure why there's multiple levers here. But anyways, your shower head's up there, and then it does have a different shower head that you can bring with you to the back of the shower, which is good. A spray hose, I couldn't think of the word. And then you've got your stuff bolted to the wall. It looks like it's pretty close to the shower bench. We will see if I end up taking a shower, how close that ends up being. Oh, okay. So this is not, okay, I thought it was a padded bench. It's not. It's actually a hard surface. So like most accessible showers, you probably are going to have to put down a towel or something to sit on so that you don't slip off onto the floor. I've almost had that happen a few times in wheelchair accessible bathrooms. So yeah, this is a really great accessible bathroom. And some other things about this hotel. So it unfortunately does not have a complimentary breakfast. I believe the breakfast is, I think there's two options for breakfast. They have like a little restaurant downstairs that you can go to and charge it to your room, or there's like a grab and go thing. And I think both of them are between $5 to $11. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but some type of breakfast is supposed to be between $5 and $11, and there's two choices for that. The other thing that they have too, you do have to pay for parking here. It's not free, and they do have valet parking. It is $25 a night, and like we checked in at like, I think it was like 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock, and the valet parking is good until 11 p.m. tomorrow. So that gives us time to go and do our appointments, come back, grab our stuff, load up our car, and then leave. One of the reasons why I chose this hotel specifically is because it is on the Cleveland Clinic campus itself. And so they actually have a shuttle that runs between the hotel itself and whatever building your appointments are in. So tomorrow morning, I just ask for a shuttle and it brings me directly from the hotel to the building. It doesn't like loop around and like drop you off, kind of like a public transport system. It doesn't act like that. It's a straight shot from point A to point B. Which is kind of nice, because if you have to drive to the Cleveland Clinic, as we found out today, total Joe. In terms of parking, we opted for valet parking. My father had to wait over an hour in the valet section. I should have recorded that earlier because it was so bad. And they just have you looping around and around and around in different radiuses until finally you get to the point where the valet takes the car and parks it for you. But it was an absolute mess. And then getting your car back, you have to wait in Cleveland Clinic again between 30 minutes to an hour to wait for them to come pick up the car. So I'm glad we don't have to go through that tomorrow. We just hop on a shuttle and go. And the buildings on the Cleveland campus itself are connected by like skyways. They have shuttles and all of that. Well, the skyway is obviously free because that's just like a bridge thingy or like a tunnel. And then they have like a shuttle system too, which is also completely free that runs on the campus. And I believe that makes like scheduled stops around the campus. So yeah, so that's why I chose this hotel. In terms of actually booking the hotel, so for me in the past, I have found that it's actually cheapest to book through the hotel directly and then get discounts or whatever for like AAA and all that kind of stuff. That was not the case for this hotel. Even with the Cleveland Clinic discount, patient discount, which was like 12%, the room was still way more expensive than if I booked it online. And so the cheapest way for me to book it online was through Trivago Deals, I think was the name of it. Never heard of it, never used it before, kind of looked sketchy, but it ended up working out okay. Didn't have any issues with the rooms, well, other than the fact that they booked my father also a wheelchair accessible room and we had to get that changed. So no issues with that, but that's my tip is if you want to stay on site itself, your best bet is probably going to be to book through a third party versus booking directly through the hotel. So that's it about the hotel. And the lobby area is nothing fancy. It's pretty plain. So yeah. If I end up going down there, I will try to take some video footage, but for right now, I'm just gonna keep resting. So, all right, I hope this vlog was helpful for people who might be considering traveling to the Cleveland Clinic to get medical care. And if you're a wheelchair user and you're kind of curious about, you know, what the rooms look like or whatever, hopefully this helps. All right, bye. And I'll do one more pan of the room from the entrance so you can see. All right, bye.